Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how we're going to build this little schoolhouse or church, whichever you decide it to turn it into. Okay, so I've got it all taped together first, just kind of give you an idea of what we're going to do and how I dry fit everything before I actually put it together. Also, I will be listing these other desks on my website. It's a couple of different designs. These two have the flat. Sorry about that. Apparently Alexa wants to catch every shadow today. And then this kind has the angled top. So if you notice, these two are the same, but this one will have the angled top. And then you got the scroll work and stuff. They will come in the MDF as a kit, completely apart, which will look like this color here or this color here. And then you can paint them. I actually just used a black permanent marker to paint mine. And I did the top on this one black just to see what it looked like, but I like the brown better. Alright, so to get started, I'm going to go ahead and take everything apart, and I'm going to show you how we're going to build this. It's really simple, it's not difficult at all, and I think it'll be easy build for your first dollhouse. Alright, so once you have it all apart, I'm going to show you the pieces that are for the most part in here. You have the front wall with these notches cut out for the porch, the back wall, the side wall with the windows, the floor, the other side wall, and the roof. Now, with the roof, I want you to notice that this piece here is shorter than the back piece. And that is because when you put them together, you put this piece on top of here, it's going to make them even going down on both sides. So make sure you pay attention when you put that together to do that so that you have an even roof and not an odd roof. You don't want one part hanging over versus the other part. Okay, so I'm just going to work on a scrap board here. Oh, that's got a sticker on it. I don't want it to stick to the sticker. Okay, so I'm just going to work with a scrap board here. And I'm going to start with my floor. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get myself some masking tape. And I am going to put it on here. And what this is going to do, this is going to help me hold my sides up while they dry. Now, on the front piece of the house, it's got an extra little notch. I'm going to put a third piece of tape right on there. You don't want to leave your masking tape on there too long because it will begin to stick to the wood if it's good masking tape. But for drying purposes, it should be fine. I wouldn't leave it on there overnight, and I wouldn't leave it on there for a couple hours. But for a short time, it'll be fine. Okay, so here is my side with the opening so we can access what's inside of here. And then here is the difference between it. This is flat all the way across, and then this has notches. This is not going to be the bottom, this is going to be the top because we have a support piece that will go across here. Okay, so once you've done that, then you've got all of your roof pieces for the little porch, and then you have, or the bell tower, and then you have your actual porch parts and the window frames. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue here. And for this video, I'm just going to be using some super glue from Loctite just because it dries quickly. I would recommend that you don't do that, that you do some regular glue, wood glue, because this stuff dries really quick, and once it sticks, it sticks. So I'm going to put the glue right in here, and then I'm going to go right along this little edge here, just a little bit, not a lot, as you can see. And then I'm going to stick it right on top of here. And I'm going to hold this up. I'm going to move it off that edge real quick so that it has time to here. There's a little miniature square tool in there. I'm going to hold that there. It's not really going to make this square at this point because it'll glue it all together, but it's going to kind of help me hold it there for a second. And then you're going to let that sit for a second. Alright, so once that has set up some, you're going to have to glue the front. Remember, it's got that extra little notch there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put some glue right here, here, and then along the part here and here. And then you're going to add it along this little piece that's notched out in here, and then along this edge here, and along this edge here. And then you're going to attach it right in this space. Make sure you have it pushed all the way in, and once it's pushed all the way in, then you're going to pull your tape up just like that. I'm also going to take some tape and I'm going to put it on here to hold this together. Because I'm using the Loctite, it should hold together pretty easily by itself. But just to be safe, that's what I'm going to do. We're going to leave that piece of tape there for right now. I'm going to pull it off of the edge a little bit in case any glue drips, it doesn't stick to my board. And now, remember, this has the top piece, and then this is the flat part for the bottom piece. So we're going to go ahead and put some glue right along this inside edge, right there. Then we're going to turn it over, and we're going to go, try not to get it so far up like I just did. Right in that edge there. Then you're going to go along here, here. Oh, I meant, no, I just did that backwards, sorry. Let me wipe that off. Okay, so nix that part. You're going to go on the inside in here. And then this part is where this is going to get that one this time. And then you're going to line it up with that bottom little notch there. And then put it in that groove at the front of the building. Make sure it's nice and tight. Right in there. Try not to get your fingers glued to it. Again, I'm just going to take some more crazy glue, tape, and I'm just going to help hold that in there just a little bit with some tape. And I think it's pretty much set up, but we're just going to be extra careful and hold that like that. In fact, the fact that I can lift it like that says that that glue pretty much is dry. Alright, now, the next part you're going to have to do is this back piece. So, I don't get glue everywhere like I did on that front one, now that I've got all of it together. I'm going to just go ahead and put some glue right along this edge. And right along this edge here. And then it's going to go right inside this little notch and right inside this little notch. Now I'm going to line it right up there, and then I'm going to pop it all together. Pull that up there, pull that up there. Make sure we have it all good. Everything's together nice and square. This piece here is not quite enough glue in there, so I'm just going to put a dab down there and let it run. I'll just run right down on that edge, and then I'm going to hold that there. Wipe off any excess. Now I'm just using a baby wipe. You don't want to get MDF wet, so don't put a lot of liquid on it. Okay, so now once that's done, you have everything together. Turn it up. Okay, once you have it up, you're going to have a door frame. Now this door frame, you need to put it even with both sides there, and then the top will be above it just a tiny bit. So you're going to put some glue right along that edge, and then you want to line it up and put it there. Now this replaces those little tiny blocks that I did in the greenhouse. Because it's a schoolhouse, I want it to look like that. Now, if you plan on painting this or doing whatever, you might want to do that before you install this. Okay, so now that that's there, you have like a back end there, right? So that is for the door. But before we install the door, we need to take this front porch piece, which has a flat piece and it has that there, and we need to put that right up there, put some glue on there, just like that. And then you're going to slide it in that hole, just like a puzzle. All right, now you want to get the hinge piece that looks like an L. It's this piece here. And you're going to put some glue on the back and on each side with just a dot. Like just a tiny little dot. And then you're going to put that in on your door to look like this. Do that with both pieces. I would also, more than likely, if I were you, I would sand the bottom of your door just a little bit so that you don't have to fight with the entryway being so tight. Because what happens is it's a perfect cutout. So if you put anything down on here, paint, anything like that, it's going to bring it up just enough. And this is literally a perfect cutout with very little room for moving. So you want to make sure that if you're going to do anything here, that you take care of the bottom of here by sanding it just a tiny bit. All right, now these pieces that you have, there is a smaller side and a bigger side because the laser cuts bigger at the top than the bottom. So what you're going to do is you're going to take those and you're going to put the smaller side up and push it all the way back. And then you're going to put the glue on all 4 sides and the back of this one, because it's going to stick to that little board that we just did. Hopefully you can see that, because I can't really get much closer without having my hands blocking it. But basically I'm just putting glue pretty much on the very end of all of this hinge. Sliding it in that hole, letting it stick to that back piece, and repeating that process. And then that's how that's going to go. Let that set up for a little bit, and you should have what looks like this. You can paint these if you like. They have little holes cut out, so you can kind of pop them out if they're still in there. Sometimes they fall out in the laser and you don't have to worry about it. But basically this is just a decorative hinge. And if you put a little bit of glue on the inside as well, or on this piece, which might actually be easier for you, then you just slide that right in there, and there you go. Gives you a little bit of decoration to that piece. However, do not get your crazy glue on there like I just did, because it will dry white. I'm gonna paint this whole thing anyway eventually, which I'm probably going to regret doing after it's put together, but it's alright. Now, once that's there and you have your hinge all set up, your door should go right back in this hole like that. And again, it's a perfect fit, so you might want to sand your door down a little bit before you do it. Now you want to grab some head pens or stick pens that have an end to it that's pretty big. And you're going to need at least 2 of them. So 2 will make it happen. You're going to drop that pen down in there just like that. Kind of like a real door hinge would be with a pen. This one may not be as easy because my head pen's bent. And I forgot to cut that off. Okay. So that's how that is. And then you want to bend it and then cut it. This bottom one I'm going to have to cut before I can install it because I put the floor on. Okay, so once that's bent over or fitting in there, you want to bend it the same way you just did in the top one. Can't really see what I'm doing without putting my head in the camera here. Sorry. You want to bend that up. I gotta move over to the side so I can't see it from that angle. Sorry, guys. And once you bend it up, it should have like a little hook in there. So then you want to take that hook and you want to cut it right there. I didn't sand my door so you can see what I mean about being tight. But it does open and close. I'll probably take the hinges off when I go to paint it and sand it down. But I just want you guys to be able to see how to build this. Alright, so now you have this piece and it has the 2 notches in it. You can have the decorative side or the flat side facing down. I'm going to put this side facing down, and there's a hole there. That hole is there so if you want to drop some wiring down there and hide your stuff up here, you can. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue right here. And then also in this joint. Now, if you're turning this into an old school house, they use candles, not actual wiring. So in that case, this will just act as a support piece, and that'll be it for you. But squeeze that together, wipe off any excess glue. I use baby wipes a lot because they're not really wet, especially if you buy like the cheap kind from like Sam's Club. I tend to like those better. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna take off all this extra tape here because it's dry now. Masking tape is like the one thing that I say when you build any dollhouse kit that you should have, that and stick pens, because they really help you out with those extra little pieces that you need those extra hands to hold. And since you don't really have the ability to clamp a lot of dollhouses without spending a whole lot of money on big clamps and stuff, the tape will help you hold, and so will the stick pens. And if you want to know how I did that with my Beacon Hill, I have video tutorials of that, so you can definitely check that out. Alright, now we're almost done with this whole thing. We just need to do the front and the roof. So here's the thing. This piece here has a notch at the top, and then up here it does not. So this is going to go right in this hole, and you got to make sure you get it down in there. It can be a little tricky trying to do it at that angle, and that's what holds everything all together. Let me try and put it up right. This should give you a much better view. So you can go down in there like that, and then this gets glued here like this. So we're going to put glue on this whole entire part here, and then on the inside edges here. And then this here inside gets glue, and then the outside there gets glue. And then this is going to help stabilize this bottom piece and keep it all together. Don't push down on it too hard, but push from the inside up and the outside down to make sure you've got it nice and snug. Then you can take a piece of that tape and you can put it right there on that edge to hold that together. You're going to do the same exact thing with this piece here, and then glue it in place like that. And then you want to hold that there, put a little piece of tape on here. Do the same thing, push up from the inside and down from the outside to make sure you've got it in that hole very tightly. Once that's done, you're going to get this piece. Alright, so once you have that there, you're going to put some glue along this edge. And then you're going to put some right along the edge here, here, and then on the inside edge of these pieces. Then you're just going to put them right in that little hole there that has the grooves cut out for you. Make sure you pull it nice and snug at the corner so you get it nice and square. Go back to your tape. Pull it down nice and tight. And then there. And there. Now let that dry. Okay, so the same thing goes with this roof as it does with the very big roof. The shorter one goes on the inside, and then the longer one goes on the outside like that. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to glue them just like this to your roof. You go ahead and put some glue on the back side of this, and then on the top side of this here area, and then on the back side of the other one, and then glue on the top side of this as well. And then you want to go up, make sure I got the right one. Yeah. And then on the smaller one, you want to also put some glue going straight across that top beam there. You're going to sandwich them together and try not to glue your fingers to the roof like I do. I'm pretty good at gluing my fingers to the roof. Once you have it in place like that, do the same thing, push up from the bottom and in from the down there. And then there are also these little A brackets that you can glue on the inside of it to give it a little bit more support. You can kind of put it at the back to kind of help hold that there, or in the center. It doesn't really matter. It's completely up to you where you put that little piece, because it's just an extra added support piece. And of course you can paint all that and get rid of that glue that I made the mess on. But while we're there, I'm going to go ahead and glue the handle in, even though I didn't do that before because I was going to paint it. But you know, since we're here and we're doing this, I'm just going to glue the handle in these two little holes, which I can't see what I'm doing, so hopefully you can. Okay, so it just goes right in there, and then don't push it all the way back, just make sure it's even at the back. There you go. Then you have a handle on your door. Now, the very last part about this dollhouse, besides the frame, is the A-frame roof. And again, we're going to do the same thing we just did. However, before we do that, we are going to see which one we need to do. Okay, so this is the taller one, or the wider one, and this is the skinnier one, which means this has to go like this. So for this to go like this, we're going to actually put some tape on it to help us before we even do anything, because that's just going to make it a lot easier. Okay, again, here we have it there, which means this is going to go butted up next to this piece here. So just like that. So as we have that even, I'm going to pull that tape over before I even glue it. And now that it's there, I'm going to lay it flat just like that. And I'm going to run a bead of glue all the way down here. Then we're going to fold it like a book. Bring our house back. We're going to put some glue here. And, you know, I did forget we have to do the steeple, which I did not do yet, so we'll do that as well. This kit is very simple to do. It just has a lot of little parts, so don't get discouraged. Just take your time and do the video. Now, while you're adding the roof, I want you to look at the difference between the front and the back And you can measure it, but it should hang over about 1/4 of an inch on each. My roof is not quite even there. Okay, so once that's there and you have that attached, very carefully turn your roof upside down, and then you want to find these little A-things. You should have 3 left. They're just little frames. You're going to put one on each end, and I'm putting some on the back of this one to help hold it. It's going to go right up in that corner, wedging that roof together. Then you're going to do the same thing to this corner on the left. And you can't really see what I'm doing, so hopefully I'm getting it up in there the way it's supposed to go, because I'm trying to keep my head out of there for you guys. And then the third piece you're going to put just on the edge. And you're going to put that directly in the center. And I didn't do this beforehand because if you don't have it even, you won't be able to get it apart. Okay, so then now you should have those support pieces. Hopefully you can see that somewhat up in that corner where it's at. Now, as far as the porch goes, what I would do, and I'm not going to do it right now because I'll do it before I paint, I'm going to take the bottom where my porch is. There's going to be just a tiny bit of space right here. And then you just want to put a little bit of wood glue in there and let it smooth over. Take off all that tape. Alright, now, for this next part, it's a little tricky, but you can do it pretty easy. Again, you got 2 sizes of the roof. One goes this way, one goes that way. However, you have to put your cross in here before you do that because it has the A-frame in there that you're going to need. So, as you can see, this one would go on top. So what you're going to do is you're going to put a little bit of glue right along here and in that hole. Make sure the cross is facing forward when you do it. And having my fingers just do not want to work today. Alright, now you're going to put that right on there like that and keep it even at the top. Now there is a little tiny circle cut out there. That is if you want to hang a bell in your bell tower. You don't have to. I do know that they sell them on like eBay and Etsy and stuff like that. But just to give it extra security and stability, I'm going to put a little bit of crazy glue right up on there. And I don't care if it dries white because, for one, you're not going to see it. And 2, I want this to stay because that's where the little bell will hang. the next thing you need to do is you need to determine if you're going to put your bell tower on here or if you're going to put it on the top. Okay, so once you have this glued here and this glued here, you're going to glue this right along this edge. If you want, you can also glue this on the inside and make that just a tiny bit wider, but that's going to also reduce your overhang by 1/4 of an inch because you're going to have to allow for an 1/8 here and an 1/8 back there. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put some glue right up and along here. And then this piece is going to sit right on top. And I'm just going to hold it until it dries. Enough to where I can let it go. Alright, so now if you want to put your frames in, you can glue some plastic to here and then just glue them right in place on top of there like that. I'm not going to do that on camera because I'm going to paint this wall or do something with it, and then this is going to be out of the side of it. So you do that there. And then the same thing goes on the outside here. So if you put siding on or whatever you decide to do, put this on top of that and glue it right on there like that, and then you'll be okay. Right, so the other thing is there are a couple other crosses that are in there. There's the one with just this without the support. I figured you could hang that somewhere in the schoolroom or whatever if you wanted to, or there's a cross there. You could just put it on the side of the building, like maybe right here, or anywhere really. I mean, it doesn't matter where you put it. It's completely up to you. You could put it up here and have it hanging down with a little hook right there. And I think when I did this one, I have it up too high because you can see it there. So, I mean, it may be better for you to put that on the inside, but that's up to you what you want to do. I think on the other schoolhouse I did put it on the inside. But these little cutouts here, I have a template that's a printable on my website that you can download that has like a bunch of different book covers that you can glue to those. And then there's a tutorial on how to do that on the other one as well. And again, there are these school desks that are, you know, perfect size for in here. And I will eventually make a teacher desk, just haven't gotten to it. Okay, so this is a small one, and I did actually glue this on the inside on that. So definitely glue that on the inside, it looks better. And then this is just the bell that I was going to hang in there and just haven't gotten to yet. So you can see how you can get those on eBay. Okay, these are the printables that you can download off my website. They're just a whole bunch of book printables. You can download those for free under the templates and members only. And then I'm going to show you what they look like when you do them, if I can get them out of this thing. Paint the edges of those white. And then you have some little school books. Okay, so here is some of the newer desks that I've made. I've showed you those, and hopefully you can see them pretty well. So what I've done with the newer ones, let's scooch it in a little bit without knocking everything off the table. What I've done with the newer ones is I've made the seat wider rather than narrower because I felt like it would hold the doll a little bit better. And then I also made 2 of them that have a slanted top because I really like that idea. However, just to give you an idea of the desk in the schoolroom, and I use Mod Podge for the gloss. They do butt up next to each other, and the circle goes together down here. You can push them against the wall, or you can have them in the middle. It's up to you. But you have plenty of room in here for a teacher desk, and even you can do even 3 rows probably in this one. I mean, the littler one does definitely hold the person, but the bigger one keeps it a little bit more stable. And you can probably get a 4th row on that back side. Okay, so I have lots more tutorials coming soon, so like and subscribe, leave a question, suggestion, or comment below, and I will see you in the next video. And keep an eye out because I do plan to do a teacher desk. I just haven't decided what kind of desk I want to do yet. So if you want to leave some links of some below, that'd be great to give me some ideas of what you think would be a good idea for in an old-time schoolhouse. But other than that, this is what I've come up with so far. And definitely when you do this bell tower, as you can see, the 2 of them, that one over there definitely looks better than this one because I have this on the outside and you can kind of see a little bit where the roof doesn't quite cover it. So I'll probably pop that off and redo it with a different one, but I'll have to cut it.